Okay, here goes nothing. Hello, Internet. My name is Adam A. Smith, and this is my personal hashtag Marchus Honest Challenge. Now, I suspect you have several questions, the first of which being, who the heck are you? The second of which being, what the heck is Marchus Honest? And the third of which being, why is the video quality so bad? Starting latter to former, the video quality is on my cell phone, because my intent is not to necessarily make videos. I am an artist, after all, not a video maker, so you'll have to forgive that. Secondly, Marchus Honest is a challenge posted by the YouTube channel Unis Honest, a collaboration between Markiplier Fishbach and Ethan Crank Gameplay Nestor, to essentially let us know and get us to live the best life we can with the time that we have. It's the entire goal of that channel. And the hashtag Marchus Honest is their personal challenge to the internet to get people to challenge themselves over the month of March, to get them to better themselves in some way. Master a skill, improve their health, their body, their mind, what have you. For me, personally, this takes the form of drawing comics. And now we get to the first. Who am I? Well, as I said previously, I am an artist. I draw primarily with pencil, and I draw primarily fantasy comics. What kind of fantasy comics, you ask? Well, that's a very good question. Allow me to elaborate as much as I can. Get some of this stuff out of the way. Some characters you won't be meeting yet. She's really awesome. Can't wait to get her in here. Ah, yes, and Aesler der Noren Hillborn. Very interesting character. That's for later. That's one of my friend's characters. That is a coin. Yes, square coins in my world. Deal with it. Ta-da! This is extremely professional. Miscellaneous Misadventures. What the holy crap is Miscellaneous Misadventures, you might be asking? Ah, well, the title you see is self-explanatory. Miscellaneous people and creatures on, well, misadventures. Going through life, having a grand good old time, and trying not to die in the process. That's D&D for you. Taking place in the realm of Tantalus, on my rather crudely drawn map. This is a rather old thing, but it's representative. And who will we be following, you ask? Another very good question. This is the Barbarian. Yes, his name is simply the Barbarian. Or to be specific, he has no name. His name was stricken from him after he was... There is a word for what I'm thinking of, but I can't think of it. As I said, I am not a video presenter. I am an artist. He was banished from his clan, which is the word I was looking for, and given the 2 marks upon his face as a symbol of that. His name was also stricken from him. Names are very important to the elven people, and so he decided to simply have no name. Be simply known as the Barbarian, as most people call him, with his great sword. Now, what did he do to get banished? That's a very good question. Moving on. In very light pencil, because she's a work in progress, Valexi, the human sorceress. Extremely powerful and just as prideful. She goes through life with a bit of a fatalistic attitude towards everything. Now, why is this? Aha! Another very good question. Anyway, moving on. Ah, yes. Gul Tarin, the half-orc ranger. If my camera would focus upon him. This page is also very dirty. There we go, but I don't want to be that close. I might have to be that close because this camera on this phone will not focus. Let's try this again. Good enough. Half-orc ranger, extremely wise, extremely skilled hunter, wielding his father's dual axe. Now, how did he end up with his father's dual axe? Another very good question, and as that goes, we are moving on. Last, and certainly not least, Garen Soulflame, halfling fighter extraordinaire and hero. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anyway, extremely strong, well, in his own mind anyway. Extremely brave, well, in his own mind anyway. And yet more talented than you'd assume, despite his 2'7" diminutive frame. More power in that little body than you'd expect. He wields that dwarven war axe sized for a regular person with his one hand. How did he manage to learn to do that? Why, yes, another excellent question. Moving on. That is another picture of Alexi from when she was an elf. I forgot I put that down there. Iteration and all that. And so you might be asking, what the heck does this all mean, as I pick the phone up and start walking around in an extremely disorienting manner, I'm sure. I apologize for that. Well, my goal by the end of the month is to have my comic published up on Patreon, where people can choose to become patrons of me and support me in my endeavor to draw more and more comics. This is my own, as I said, hashtag Marchus Honest Challenge. By the end of this month, I will have my Patreon site live, and I will have comics and art to publish. The only reason I have not done so up till now has been, well, slightly a compounded problem. Firstly, my own self-confidence. I've thought for a long time that I am simply not good enough, which I can tell you is an extremely poisonous and deadly thought. If you find yourself thinking these things, stop right now. Secondly, time. I do have a job after all. We all need to, put food on our perspective plates, as it were, as I pan over my collection of Gundam models just to show you how much of a freaking nerd I am. And that, of course, takes up time that I could have been using to make art. But thirdly, and perhaps most pertinently, just good old-fashioned procrastination, honestly, which is just made me feel awful over the past several years. And I've decided that must come to an end now, partly thanks to the aforementioned Mark and Ethan of Unis Honest, who have been trying to get people to live the best life they can with the time that they have. A lesson I've decided to start trying to take to heart, so that by the end of this month, I will be posting one video a day, chronicling my progress, giving updates, and maybe doing some other little videos along the way. I have a couple of fun ideas I could possibly do, by the end of which I'll have a YouTube channel with several videos on it, and a Patreon with several pages of a comic on it. All coming from this art studio that I have been filming the whole time, my geek cave, as it were, with not a bad view. There are worse places to try to do art in. Anyway, with that out of the way, I shall stop blabbing at the internet for a couple of minutes and get to work. I'll probably be dividing my time between, well, making a YouTube channel to post this video upon. That probably would help. After that, I shall probably be splitting my time between working on building the infrastructure, as in getting the Patreon site actually up to a degree that I am comfortable with, and just drawing. Most of my time, I hope, will be spent at this desk right here, just drawing stuff. Like I said, thank you, actually, to Mark and Ethan for reminding me that our time here is precious and we must do what we can with it while we can. And as tribute to them, memento mori, unis honest, and I will see you tomorrow.